Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yasodanandana Rajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Rajajana Ranjana Yamunatira Prem Saga Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shri Vasubhuda Bhaktavinda Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Sham Kunda Radha Kunda Kirvanan Davandam Gichay Mathura Dham Gichay Navitam Gichay Bhangvamai Gichay Yamunamai Gichay Tudasire Gichay Bhakti Devi Gichay Samvira Bhaktavinda Gichay Oda Pramanandi. All glories to the Swami devotees. All glories to the Swami devotees. All glory to the Swami devotees. Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Devi Guruvani Pachari Nirvishesha Shinavani Paschachari. Well, let's continue with this nectar book, Diary of Hari Sari Prabhu. I remember when these books came out, we would get them and read them and not finish reading. Read them as much as possible, day and night. And Hari Sari told me once in Mayapur that he still has 2 volumes more. No, we have 5, 6, and 7. They're about to be printed. And they should be bound nicely. Yeah. There's places where they put a hardcover in. Okay, so let's start. Prabhupada is still in Vrindavan. Several devotees who have been involved in helping with the Vrindavan temple are going elsewhere. Hai Das, who was managing here for a short while, is going to open a center in Spain. Gunanava is going to the Middle East with Tribhuvana to preach and collect funds. Jagat Guru Swami, who has been here for some time, has already gone to Malaysia to open a center. Now this was ISKCON in the beginning. Power just tell somebody, you go to Malaysia, you go to Japan. You know, sometimes Power would tell devotees without them having prepared in any way. So they just started molding their life in the way that they would go, finish. And I remember that time, the rule was actually you go there, you sit there, chant Hare Krishna, wait until somebody comes, he has interest, and then you ask him for help. Maybe you have heard it already, but I did the same thing in Munich. I went there, and I had an invitation of some hippies to live in the commune with them. So I went there, and then after a while they threw me out because I was just Hare Krishna. I didn't take LSD anymore, anything, all these things. So then I was sitting on the street chanting, and a couple came, 2 Grihasta couple. And they were very interested, and I asked them, I have nowhere to stay tonight. Can you give a little space at your home? And they were just living opposite, to the place, to that place where we're chanting. And so I went there, and all of a sudden the girl tells me, look, there's a little place for renting there, a little shop, a very tiny little shop. Why don't you go and ask? So I went. And I went in dhoti, shaved up, not in kami clothes, And the guy accepted, and he gave me the place. And then we started a little temple there. And this was happening all over the world. Like Prabhupada did the same thing. He came alone, and then finally he left this apartment of the Grihasta couple, where he stayed in the beginning. And then he went to New York. And actually had no place. He first was staying with Dr. Mishra in New York in his yoga ashram. And then he had some problems with Dr. Mishra because he was an impersonalist. So then all of a sudden some people were started to be interested, and they helped him. And Prabhupada used to go out on the street all alone, walking, all alone. And one day he met a boy on the street, and he just asked him, "Are you from India?" And Prabhupada said, "Yes. Are you interested?" And this boy was Hayagriva. Hayagriva became Prabhupada's editor after a while, because he was an English professor. And so Hayagriva told him, "Yes, I've been in India." Well, very interesting, because he had gone also to Vrindavan, while Prabhupada was living there. So then Harigriva asked him, then Prabhupada invited him to this new little place he had. And then Harigriva said, can I also bring my friend? He was living with two other young boys. And so they were the first who came to the temple at that time. And step by step, Prabhupada introduced. And then not only that, and one day Srila Prabhupada sat down with the people interested. There was also a lawyer and like that. And Prabhupada founded the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. And devotees couldn't believe it. International Society for Krishna Consciousness. It was just a small, tiny little place. And also somebody said, maybe we should say God consciousness. And Prabhupada didn't like it. And he insisted, no, Krishna consciousness. And Prabhupada said that God is not very specific. God is actually, it's a title. Like director, God, like that. Sometimes people also say, he's the God of that company or something like that. But actually from the very beginning, Prabhupada taught us that God is Krishna. Sri Bhagavan. The Supreme Person. Prabhupada introduced this term also, Supreme Personality of God. Actually Prabhupada gave us a lot of new words that he actually created. Like also the three modes of material nature. In India, everyone knows what guna is, but he created this term, the three modes of material nature, and many other things. Anyway, so here we hear again how Prabhupada started sending Sikh disciples all over the world to open temples. Hare Swami read Prabhupada some mail in the morning. There were 2 letters from South Seas Zone, both with disturbing content. From Fiji, Upendra reported that despite Srila Prabhupada's having previously sent a letter that they should not take out a loan from the bank in ISKCON's name, they have gone ahead anyway, taken out for $80,000. Upendra indicated that things in general there are not going too well. The interesting thing with this is that Prabhupada was dealing with all the problems of ISKCON at that time. There was no GBCs, there were no devotees who were kind of, in charge. With every little problem, they go to Srila Prabhupada. And Prabhupada had to solve these problems. And then gradually, in due course, Prabhupada gave over some responsibilities. He created the GBC, that Prabhupada used to call the GBC ISKCON, the ISKCON watchdog, Wachhund, GBC. And even in the beginning, when he had created the GBC, Srila Prabhupada had a veto. How do you say veto? Like he could, for example, there was one instant that there was a big problem that a few GBCs had taken a very important decision without considering the rest of the GBC. So when Prabhupada heard that, because he wanted all the decisions made with the whole important decisions with the whole body, and he stopped. And he actually, how you say, außer Kraft gesetzt. What is that? He took, he took the GBC completely out of order because they had acted in a way that he didn't like. And after a while, the GBCs were nicely trained for Srila Prabhupada. And Prabhupada gave more and more responsibilities. I told you this the other day also, one instant. Prabhupada was in Los Angeles. And that's where the British, the English GBC, BBT, was the headquarters of the BBT at that time. And at one point, in Los Angeles, And Los Angeles, in Watseka Avenue, this is the street where the temple is, and also by now so many places or even houses belong to the ISKCON. Anyway, so the BB, they had constructed where Prabhupada was staying. They had constructed an elevator, so Prabhupada didn't have to walk up the stairs. And so they were in the elevator. And Radha Ballabha, he was in charge of the BBT office at that time. He told Prabhupada, maybe Rameshwar was also there, and they told Srila Prabhupada, now you don't have to travel anymore. You don't have to manage anymore. Just stay here and translate your books. And Prabhupada looked at him, very serious. He said, I want to die on the battlefield. And battlefield for Srila Prabhupada was preaching, traveling, preaching, encouraging his devotees, his followers all over the world. In the end, also when Prabhupada came to London in 77, this was already, he was a very bad condition, physically very bad condition. But when he felt a little better, Srila Prabhupada decided, no, I want to travel again. And he said, I want to go to America because my disciples still need my guidance. I said, my guidance. And in this way, he had a flight that was going to New York or Los Angeles, I don't know where. But he had a stopover in London. And this famous stopover in London became the last time that we saw Srila Prabhupada. In Europe, all the devotees went there to London to see Srila Prabhupada. But just see, even in that condition, Srila Prabhupada was very, very serious about his mission, preaching, encouraging his disciples to continue more strength for their preaching work. But then when Prabhupada came to London, as we all went there to see Srila Prabhupada, and actually when we saw Srila Prabhupada, we were shocked. Many devotees were crying when they were seeing Srila Prabhupada in that condition. He was using sunglasses, and he was extremely skinny, and he was not walking anymore. He was just carrying the palanquin all the time. They didn't sit. They also didn't sit him on the Vyasasana, but they put the palanquin at the side of the Vyasasana because it was impractical for Prabhupada to sit there. Yeah. Anyway, and then that we heard later. Many of us, maybe inner circle not so much, they were well informed. But we all got to know about the condition of Srila Prabhupada from Tamakrishna Maharaj's diary. He printed the book, The Last Lesson. What is it in English? You know that book?
7 months.
Huh?
The last 7 months.
Yeah, the last time of Srila Prabhupada. And there he was explaining the situation of Srila Prabhupada and what Prabhupada had said and this and that. And they, all of a sudden they had to carry him to the hospital because Prabhupada was very sick. When Prabhupada came back from the hospital, he decided, no, I want to go to Vrindavan. Because Prabhupada wanted to leave his body in Vrindavan. Srila Prabhupada considered Vrindavan his home. Mumbai or Bombay he considered his office. Mayapur his place of worship. Anyway, so this is all due to the strength that Prabhupada gave us that this movement was possible. And as we hear here from Harikesh, he read letters to Srila Prabhupada. He was actually Srila Prabhupada's secretary. At that time, regularly the GBCs were the secretaries of Srila Prabhupada. One after the other, Prabhupada called them, and it was also kind of training they received from Srila Prabhupada during that time. Yeah, I remember Hansa Duda also went. He was our GBC. He stayed with Srila Prabhupada as a secretary for some time, like this. And they had after Srila Prabhupada left, the GBC had taken the decision that the GBC also had to change. I remember, I don't know what year it was, but at that time Harikesh was our GBC, and he went to Brazil. And Ridananda Maharaj, the GBC of Brazil, came to Germany. And I still remember the first class he gave. He said, I come from a place where they don't take material life very serious, nor spiritual life very serious. And now I have to come in a country where they take material life very serious and spiritual life also very serious.
They have to take, or they
take in spiritual life very serious and material life also very serious. Okay, continue a little more. They had taken a big loan, $80,000, and without the permission of Srila Prabhupada. At that time, these things happen sometimes. Srila Prabhupada advised that Tama Krishna Maharaj should be informed and asked to check things out. I mentioned this many times. So when there are problems in ISKCON, Prabhupada used to always call Tama Krishna Maharaj to solve, or help solve the problem. Just like he also came to Germany. In the very beginning, there was no GBC. I mean, these GBCs are normally the supreme body. How you say that? Yeah, the body. And the GBCs were supposed to travel. After a while, Prabhupada instituted the GBC to always travel, visiting the temple, checking everything was going nicely according to his teachings and his practical orders. Anyway, so that was also going on for some time. The second letter came from Australia. It was a report suggesting that Madhudvisa may have misappropriated a large amount of money, $200,050. When he left there, however, this has not been proven, nor it is even confirmed that the money is actually missing because the Australian temples are not in the habit of keeping accurate accounts. There has been no word from the GBC, Guru Kripa Swami, and according to Harikesh Swami, no one knows where he is at the present moment. That also happens in ISKCON. This was such a big responsibility. Also, temple presidents. At that time, Prabhupada gave a lot of importance to the function of the temple president. Temple president. There were three authorities in the temple: the temple president, the vice president, and the secretary. I mean, the devotee who kept the accounts. And Prabhupada gave very much importance to these devotees. At that time, they had a very important responsibility, and Prabhupada, was always waiting for reports from them. They had to give reports. We also started this here in Germany. When I was a temple president in Munich, I had to always write my reports, monthly reports to our GBC, Hansa Tudor. Nowadays, it's a little different. Nowadays, sometimes you get a letter from the temple, saying something important, and there's no more temple president signing. Now it's a group. How do you say? What is that?
Temple board?
Temple board or friends, or your friends. Actually, Prabhupada was very, very keen for devotees personally accepting responsibilities. Okay, any questions? Yeah, Madhudvisa Swami. He was an important devotee also. He went to Australia. No, he went. I don't remember the name now. He went there. This was actually the event. Hari Sauri came into the service or being Prabhupada's personal servant, because that devotee, I don't remember the name now, he had been given the order by Srila Prabhupada to go to Australia. Yeah. So when he was leaving, Hari Krishna was the secretary of Srila Prabhupada, and somebody else was there. And they didn't know how to replace him, because actually he was a personal servant of Srila Prabhupada. He used to give massages to Srila Prabhupada and cook for Prabhupada like this. Yeah. And then Hari Sauri was sitting. You know, he had come there from Delhi or from Delhi. He used to be anyway. He used to be the temple commander of Mandavan before. So then he went there, and when he's sitting outside the door, Prabhupada's room, so Hare Krishna saw him and called him down. You give a massage today to Srila Prabhupada. And he had never massaged anybody. And he had to do it. And Prabhupada, while he was doing it, Prabhupada kind of corrected him, instructed him like that. That's what he learned. That's how we learned. There was not so much sophistication at that time as nowadays. No, we have so much knowledge, so much experienced devotees who write books about their theme, their specific experience. Yes? Okay. But no more questions, huh? Or comments? You want to say something?
Maharaj, many times how we can see that the Lakshmi is misused by the temple authorities?
Well, we just heard that they had no accounting. This was introduced. The point is that in the beginning, all the devotees were new. They didn't have much experience in anything. No. Later on, things became more organized, more professional. Some accountant joined, kind of, who had studied for years, do the books like that. And other things also. Just like in the beginning, sometimes there was a cook in the temple, and he blooped. He left. Nobody knows where he was, and somebody else had to cook. And without any experience, they put something in the kitchen. And he had to learn by doing it. There was nobody teaching it like that. Everything was done like that. Like I mentioned, later on, devotees had more experience, so they would be able to teach others. And the accountant was accounts. How the accounts here? You are the accountant, no? Huh? You know how to do it? You learned it from somebody? No.
Das was Ram Gopal said.
Huh?
Ram Gopal.
Ram Gopal. Okay. Yeah. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Oh. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya. Nityananda.
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta.
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
So we continue with the Chaitanya Charitamrita. And we are reading from the Madhya Lila, chapter 5, verse 24. No? Right there? Brahmana Sevaya Krishnera Priti Padahaya Tandara Satoshe Bhakti Sampatha Vadaya. It's not the verse? Which number is it?
25.
He told me 20.
25. Es steht da 25, da steht 25. Also ich kann das nur so sagen. Ich habe 25. Ja, 25 in the book, 25 on the writings.
So who put it? Who's in charge?
Sanders. Not Sanders, yeah? This is same. It's 2.5.25. Mother Villa, yes, Mother Villa. Right.
So what shall I put now?
25 nummers.
Okay. 25.
25.
Okay. Bhara viprakahe tumirakara samshaya.
Vada viprakahe tuminakara samshaya.
Tamake kanya divami kadila nichaya.
Tamake kanya divami kadila nichaya.
So yes.
Vadavi prakahe tuminakara samshaya.
Vadavi prakahe tuminakara samshaya.
Tamake kanya divami kadila nichaya.
Tamake kanya divami kadila nichaya. Vadavi prakahe tuminakara samshaya. Vadavi prakahe tuminakara samshaya. Tomake kanya divami karila nishchaya. Tomake kanya divami karila nishchaya. Bada viprakahe tuminakara samshaya. Bada viprakahe tuminakara samshaya. Tomake kanya divami karila nishchaya. Tomake kanya divami karila nishchaya.
No? No more? Ladies?
Vadaviprakahe tuminakara samshayam.
Vadaviprakahe tuminakara samshaya.
Tomake kanya diva ami karila nishchaya.
Tomake kanya divami karila nishchaya.
Vadaviprakahe tuminakara samshayam.
Vadaviprakahe tuminakara samshaya.
Tomake kanya divami karila nishchaya.
Tomake kanya divami karila nishchaya.
Bhara Vipra,
Bada Vipra,
the older Brahmana,
the older Brahmana,
Kahe,
Kahe,
replies,
replies,
to me, you,
you,
na,
na,
not,
not,
kara,
kara,
do,
do,
samshaya,
samshaya,
doubt,
doubt,
tomake,
tomake,
to you,
to you,
kanya,
kanya,
the daughter,
the daughter,
diva,
diva,
shall give,
shall give,
ami,
ami,
I,
I,
karila,
karila,
mate,
made,
nishchaya,
nishchaya,
certainly.
certain.
Translation. The older Brahmana replied, my dear boy, do not doubt me. I will give you my daughter in charity. I have already decided this. Can we continue? There's no problem. The young Brahmana said, you have a wife and sons. Oh, sorry, I have to chant also Bengali. Chota viprabale tomara shiputra sava bahu gyati gusti tomara bahuta bandava. The young Brahmana said, you have a wife and sons, and you have a large circle of relatives and friends. No? So when the old Brahmana offered his daughter to the young Brahmana, as the story goes, the young Brahmana found it out of place. No? Why? This is explained a little later, because he came from a poor family, whereas the older Brahmana came from a rich family. And it is very uncommon, at least in the Varnashrama Dharma system, that you just get married to anybody or whatever. Everything was organized, regulated, for the benefit of everybody. Because actually the Varnashrama Dharma system is a creation of Krishna, of God. So and there's a lot of rules and regulations that were common before. Now in Kali Yuga everything is completely topsy-turvy. But at that time still, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared, in those areas where he acted, still people were very, very strict in following so many rules and regulations. So anyway, he was telling the story, the two Brahmanas. These two Brahmanas had traveled, on pilgrimage. There's another thing in India also. There's a lot of popularity of the pilgrimage. There's places where thousands and thousands and thousands of people come to take darshan just for a minute of some important deity. Anyway, so they were on pilgrimage, and the young Brahmana was serving the old Brahmana. There was a lot of etiquette. Just I mentioned the other day that even amongst the Pandavas, they're showing us the proper etiquette. When Krishna met the Pandavas, he paid obeisances to Yudhishthira, because he was an older member. And he embraced Bhishma and Arjuna, and Nakula, Sahadeva and Nakula, they were paying obeisances, because they were much younger. This is interesting, that there was a lot of structure there. Like maybe I told you this. You can know Bhagavan sometimes said we should go to India and learn culture, and it's a fact. There's so many things. Of course, when you go to the big cities, it's just like like in the West. If it wasn't for seeing the advertisements of Coca-Cola on that, which makes it more and more like modern style, like international style nowadays. But when you go to the villages, it's more different. Like I told you, sometimes when we used to go on parikrama, still they go on parikrama. The people react very different when they see a Harinam party like that. They say, you went on Harinam yesterday. And not everybody came and danced and was respecting the Hari like that. There's much opposition. I remember we went to Harinam months ago, and we were sitting in front of the train station. No, not the train station. In the central shopping street. And devotees had neglected something. They had gotten a place from the police for a special place to sit down and chant. And so they stayed a little over. They spaced it out. Immediately police came. A whole van of police, armed police came. And they were reminding us, look, you overdid it. Actually, they were, by the way they came, they were expecting something else. Because Hare Krishna are not a violent group. I remember, and I don't remember where it was, when we had our Ratha Yatra, and the police commented that actually this was a very nice manifestation. There was no violence, there was no disorder and all that. Everyone was doing exactly how we wanted it, like that. So our manifestations are a little different. Anyway, so there's many rules. Like one rule is also, like we hearing here, that the marriages were also taking place in a very orderly way. We talked about this the other day, right? When the girl came in, was growing up, the parents were very responsible, looking for a husband. And the parents of the family of the son also are very responsible, looking for somebody to form this marriage according to a Vedic system. Actually, Prabhupada explains somewhere You know, that the lady is the first contact that the young girl has with a man. That relationship becomes very, very important for the girl, and especially when they're young. They didn't have much contact. Just like when you go to India, even nowadays, you go to the outside the cities, go to the villages. You see that you never see the young boys and young girls together. You know, there's always group boys and girls. You know, what to say of going to a club, you know, dancing, spend the night somewhere unknown. Power is to say that when a girl stayed overnight somewhere, nobody, after a while, nobody wanted to marry her. This was the end of it. Anyway, so they were very responsibly. Actually, when Devahuti got married, right, it says in the third canto, she expressed her desire to get married to Kadamba Muni. And she had never seen him. She had never seen his face. She had never seen how he walked and he moved himself like that. You know? But she heard about his qualities, exceptional qualities. And she told her father, the king, he told her, I want to get married to that man. And they went. He took this, Kadamba Muni was living outside. He was a yogi. So the parent, the father, went with his daughter. They went to see him. And the king, like it mentioned here, he offered his daughter as wife to Kadamba Muni. And Kadamba Muni accepted. Well, because he was he had a very special function also. They became the father of Kapila Muni after that. Actually, she was a mother of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And this was all arranged in a certain way, like you can see it in the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Nowadays, in Kali Yuga, it's different. And that's why these marriages normally don't last very long. I remember the Bundeskanzler, he was married like 4 times, was it? He was a Bundeskanzler before was it Mengele? No. Who was it? Was war noch die Frau, die Bundeskanzler? Merkel. Yeah, Merkel. Yeah. Like that. And normally, there's now in our modern cities, there's a very high percentage of divorces. Now they even have laws that when they get married, they ought to sign a contract. In case they get divorced, they have to, how is it? So that all their properties and everything is properly divided. And not only that, they also kill their children in the womb. That's very, very, very sinful. Prabhupada used to say, when you divorce a child in the womb, you are appearing many, many times, and you killed also in the how you say, as a reaction, karmic reaction, you killed in the womb. Very sinful. Actually, the parents are supposed to be the most important protectors of the child. But nowadays, everything is topsy-turvy. The children are not taken care of properly. The couple, the man wants to be, keeps, like when you go to the park here, around here, where I go walking sometimes, you see a lot of men coming with the babies. I said, with the how you say, the Kinderkarren? What is that? Huh? Kinderwagen. And they sit there, and the child play. Actually, there's a book that one of my godbrothers wrote. I remember he's a very popular sannyasi right now. So he spent time in what is that? West Bengal. What is that country called? Huh? Yeah, right. Yeah, and he wrote a whole book, a very nice book, about all these things that he observed, the etiquette that people practice in there. And one of the etiquettes is also that a man should never appear in public with a baby. Actually, this is supposed to be done by the ladies. Krishna, forgive me for saying that. Yeah, and there's many other things. And these are actually coming from, this is a tradition, it's a culture, it's a very elevated culture. Yeah, with the purpose of elevating, purifying the individuals, elevating them gradually to the transcendental platform, and achieving liberation. Yeah. Formerly in Vedic culture, people had 4 principles. One principle was, life was divided into different parts, 4 parts. So first religion, then economic development, then sanskritification and liberation. Education, dharma, first principle. From the very beginning of life, the children were educated to do things properly. According to their, purify themselves, and advance spiritually in life. This was a basic education. And what was the most important principles they learned was obedience, humble. Develop your humbleness. Is that an English word? Humility. Humility. Towards the parents, to the spiritual master, the brahmanas, the religion. And religion without God is not religion. Actually Krishna is Sri Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Just like in Bhagavad Gita also, in the end Krishna tells Arjuna, Arjuna had many arguments during the Bhagavad Gita. And Krishna was explaining every point he had presented. Karma yoga, Ashtanga yoga, and all these things. One after the other. And at the end, Krishna tells Arjuna, now I have instructed you. Now you decide what you want to do. Interesting. That means he left him his free will, his free will, until the end. That means Krishna doesn't really intermingle in your question, doesn't force you to do anything. He leaves us with our free will. Anyway, so they were educated, properly educated, to be servants of ultimately of the Supreme Personality of God. Just like Varna Shrama Dharma also. The Varnas. It's a system of service. The Shudras would serve the higher classes. The Vaishyas would pay their taxes, taxes to the king, and the king was respecting the Brahmanas as the most important consultants. How is it in English? Guidance. There was a thing that Prabhupada told once, a story. There was a person who was looking for somebody higher to serve. So he kind of started serving somebody. Then he noticed that person had to pay taxes to the king. This was higher. So he went and became a servant of the king. Then while he was a servant of the king, he noticed that suddenly the king disappeared. Then he secretly followed him. And he discovered that he went to the forest to see a saintly person, paying obeisance to that person. Okay, so he thought, now. Then he wanted to serve that saintly person. And the saintly person, he noticed that he was always serving a higher person, Krishna. And so in this way he became a servant of Krishna, a devotee of Krishna. Anyway, so the system is, first dharma, proper education. Then Artha, wirtschaftliche Entwicklung, what is that? Economic development. And actually, economic development originally was based on dharma. You know, when you were properly doing your things, then naturally, you know, your maintenance was not that complicated than nowadays. Things would fall into place. You know, because everyone has also swadharma. You know? Swadharma, that means we have certain qualities and tendencies like that. You know? And when they're properly organized, properly dovetailed with the Varnashama Dharma system, then everything becomes much easier to obtain. You know? Anyway, so Artha, you know, Artha. Yeah, there was no. Everyone had his. Everyone had what he deserved. No? Like the Shudras, they were nicely maintained. Not like nowadays, the Shudras in many places are completely exploited. Exploited because they don't have that higher education or that, so they, you know, like this, exploited. You know? Whereas in Vedic culture, you know, the servants, they were taken care of very nicely. Prabhupada once mentioned that a Shudra you should never give, no, originally they would never give money to Shudras. But they will maintain them. They would give them everything they needed. Everything they needed for their life. And still you can see this in India. You know, when you go outside, you know, and you visit you're invited by some people who have a little more of that. You know? The house is full of servants. And these servants are very, very, very nice. You know? Why? Because they maintain properly. They're guided properly. They're protected properly. Anyway, this was a system. So the Shudras would serve the higher classes. Anyway, so the economic development was nicely done. And what is the goal of economic development? Sanskarification. Yeah? So dharma, artha, kama, sanskarification. And in the end, when people would live up to that standard, they were naturally, because of their previous education, they would understand, well, I have a lot of karma. I want to become free from that karma before I die. So I don't go down. I don't fall down from my human form of existence. So artha, dharma, kama, dharma, artha, kama, moksha. They were looking for liberation. And that's still pretty present in India. Yeah? People know, they're very careful. You know, they don't want to, accumulate bad karma. They want to do something to get free from that. No, they see the saintly person, please liberate me from that bad karma. Bless me, please bless me. And this was very common in Vedic culture. That people would go and see saintly persons. Starting up from the Kshatriyas, they went and saw saintly persons to get good advice and like this. Like Chanakya Pandit. Chanakya Pandit was a counselor of, what is that?
Chandragupta Maurya.
Yeah, is that?
Yes,
yeah, okay. He was the most important minister in the government of their king. But he strictly maintained his standard, his Brahminical standard. One of the Brahminic standard, one quality of a Brahmin is they are properly situated when they are poor. I see. That means their principle in life is simple life and high thinking. Yeah. Not like nowadays. High life, with everything, money and and joy, yeah, and not think anything. Never wake up to higher realizations of spiritual life. Yeah. Anyway, so Chanakya Pandit was the most important minister of the king. And when the king came to see, first of all, Chanakya Pandit never entered into the palace. because there was so much openness. He didn't want to become confused. Anyway, so the king came out, and normally the kings at that time, they were always, on how say, the kutsche, what is that? They had a lot of servants, and they didn't have to do any big efforts. But this king came by foot, went out of the palace, and went to see his minister, who was living in a little hut, bamboo hut, kind of, and came by foot and paid obeisances, even though he was a king. And it says that Chanakya Pandit gave advice. He never repeated anything. As soon as the king had a doubt, he wouldn't talk to him anymore. And the Chanakya shlokas are famous in India still. I told you once that when we doing pilgrimage in South India once, we went to South India, and no, sorry, what was the point now? Can you help me? What did I say?
When we went to the South India for pilgrimage, you were mentioning about Chanakya Pandit.
Oh, Chanakya, yeah. So we went in one temple, and we were walking on the street. And then there was a school. In India still, the children, when they go to school, they have a uniform kind of. They don't just anything like here. But they're more disciplined like that. Anyway, so, and then we heard them chanting slokas or something. We thought it was slokas from the Vedas. And then somebody told, no, they're chanting the mantras of Chanakya Pandit. Wow. You're really surprised. They chanted the mantras of Chanakya. It's good. You ever heard that?
I heard the slokas which are written by Chanakya.
Yeah, Chanakya. Anyway, so the king came, and he would take advice in this way, in a very, very humble way. This is actually what culture means. Prabhupada used to say the Acharya, Acharyas should be the center of the state, because they are the most important persons giving advice to the government. Here they also have instituted something. I read that the government here instituted the Rat der Weisen or something like that. Have you ever heard this? Ist hier noch jemand, der Deutsch spricht? Ja. Hast du mal gehört davon? Yeah, they have a group of people who are giving them advice when they have a problem. Yeah. It actually reminds me of our ISKCON also. We have a Brahminical council in the GBC. When there's problems to solve or standards to establish, normally these problems are given to the body of these devotees, mature devotees, and they discuss and they present their conclusions to the GBC, how to act, what to do, what not to do. Like that. Anyway, so this is very nice. It's actually very nicely organized. Was very nicely organized in former times, and that's why the young Brahmana is saying he's telling the older Brahmana who's offering his daughter for him for marriage. He said, "Don't do that, please don't do that. This is completely contradictory to all our customs, Yeah. And the old Brahmana says, no, I'm the controller in my family. I'm the oldest one. They must accept me. And then he says here, the young Brahmana says, but you have a wife, you have sons. You have to speak with them before you take such an important decision. They might not agree with you. And the Brahmana is saying, don't worry, I'm an important person. And then when they returned, exactly happened what the young Brahmana had predicted. That the family, actually, it says even that the wife, his wife, how you say, gedroht. Threatened to commit suicide if he would give this daughter to this poor Brahmana. And the son of the Brahmana was also, and it's actually mentioned that he was not very, how you say, not very established, no? Like a very righteous person. No, he even told the old Brahmana, yeah, let him come. I will take care of him. If when he comes to remind you of that promise. Yeah. Anyway, we're coming slowly to an end. Is there any questions, maybe, or maybe? Huh? Or I can read another verse if you like. Is that okay? Asavara samiti vina nahi kanyadana Rukmini Ravida Vishma Katatati Paramana Pramana. Without the consent of all your friends and relatives, as it is not possible to give me your daughter in charity, just consider the story of Queen Rukmini and her father Bhishmaka. Remember the story of Rukmini? Yeah? She was already promised to somebody. But she didn't want to marry that man because he was not. Anyway, she wanted to actually become Krishna's wife. She thought he was the only qualified person to marry. So she wrote a letter to Krishna. And Krishna promised her, yes, don't worry, I will come. And Krishna came and fought with the opposition. With Rukmi, what's that? Rukmi was a brother of Rukmi. He was very envious of Krishna. There's some examples in the Krishna book. I remember they playing chess. Rukmi was also there. And he had won the chess, how do you say, something. And he looked at Krishna. It says he showed his teeth. I don't know, I don't remember if Krishna or Balaram, broke his teeth. You want to say something? Bhishma Kera Icha Krishna Kanya Samarpite Putrida Vidhe Kanya Nadida Aprite. King Bhishmaka, what? Huh? Something happening. Huh? What's up?
What? Just a little explain what is about this two different bills about.
What?
What is was actually one is Krishna's kidnap Rukmini, yeah? And when is Balaram is kicking in the
Balaram was it, yeah.
Yes, it's different, Leela's actually was different ways it was.
Thank you very much.
No, I just say actually for him, I don't say actually for
Sorry?
I'm not saying for all actually, I just say for him actually. He asking actually about this kind of deal.
I understand. What?
He asking what is some questions he had actually, and I tell just for him actually what is different.
Oh, you ask his question.
He asking actually, not you. It's just
yeah.
I say what is different deal. That's all.
So you answered his question.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you asked him. You answered the question. So the translation: King Bhishmaka wanted to give his daughter Rukmini in charity to Krishna, but Rukmi, his eldest son, objected. Therefore, he could not carry out his decision. There's a longer purport here. As stated in CC.5.25 10:52-25. Bandunam michatam datum Krishnaya bhaginim nipa tato nirvarya Krishnadvit Rukmi chaidyam amanyata. King Bhishmaka of Vidarbha wanted to offer Krishna his daughter, meaning, but Rukmi, the eldest of his 5 sons, objected. Therefore Bhishmaka withdrew his decision and decided to offer Rukmini to the king of Chedi, Shishupala, who was a cousin of Krishna's. However, Rukmini conceived of a trick. She sent a letter to Krishna asking him to kidnap her. Thus, in order to please Rukmini, who was his great devotee, Krishna kidnapped her. There ensued a great fight between Krishna and the opposing party, headed by Rukmini's brother Rukmi. Rukmi was defeated, and because of his harsh words against Krishna, was about to be killed. But he was saved at the request of Rukmini. However, Krishna shaved off all of Rukmi's hair with his sword. Sri Balarama did not like this, and so to please Rukmi, Balarama rebuked Krishna. Was it? Did you translate? Ah. Any questions regarding this? Yeah.
Actually, Maharaj, I heard recently that a woman, she's searching or actually the most perfect man, she's searching actually the God qualities, the God in a man. And only in that case she can subdue herself to such kind of man. Otherwise she's not.
Yeah.
This is the nature of a
Interesting. Yeah, our world nowadays is pretty different. Yes. So, any questions? Now we're coming to an end. You want to say something?
About what is matters, they say.
Sorry?
In this condition, if a woman is looking in the husband, God actually is husband is coming maybe like impersonalist, maybe, I don't know. Because actually, if no, she just told actually what is about. What is any woman looking in her husband, yeah, looking God actually, like we said, or personality of God actually, like this. Is it everyone have Paramatma? Yes.
Ask her. She said that.
Yeah. Everyone looking for Paramatma actually. But for the man actually is coming really dangerous because actually he maybe come to thinking what is he is God, not as Paramatma in his heart actually is God actually like this. And because of this actually it's kind of dangerous as having risk relationship maybe.
А? А что ты уважаешь?
Really, actually, as women should be looking for the Krishna, not for the Krishna in the man, actually, because actually, is it our personal ability looking in the Paramatma in our heart, and we, whereas devotees Vaishnava, they have Krishna in their heart, actually, but it's not looking for Krishna in different hearts actually of the people actually like this, but we can see Krishna in everyone's heart actually like this. But it's question about women in men actually it means actually if women looking for the
See, the point is that originally all these boys and girls were educated in a proper way. That means they would understand, by their humbleness, they would understand we are servants. So the husband would fulfill his duty in protecting the wife, and the wife would serve, assist the husband.
Yes, it's that actually, but the point what this relationship is coming really actually is without education. I mean actually without understanding who is who, yeah? What is about that? What is coming dangerous.
We always advise when couples are formed or when they have problems also during their family life, that they should both understand that he is a servant of Krishna and I'm a servant of Krishna. So let's serve Krishna. The center of family life should be the devotion to Krishna.
Yes, but condition in our society have reached so many divorces actually. I mean, so many divorces actually. 2-3 times we marriage actually again and again, one another, changing actually. And the society is going on.
Yeah. Anyway, that's Kali Yuga.
As we are speaking about education, yes, it's neat actually. But we do education.
No, just like in our ISKCON, we should supposed to learn this. That we are both devotees and we should cooperate, serve Krishna nicely. That's why the education is very important. Like from the very beginning, like Prahlad Maharaj gave this very important verse. It's always mentioned at the beginning of the Bhagavatam volumes. That one should be trained properly from the very beginning of life, to serve Krishna. That's why it was one of the points that Prahlad Maharaj made in front of his friends. He said that because the friends were saying, "Look, Prahlad, we're young. Let us play. Children are supposed to play." And he said, "No, from the very beginning of life, you should learn how to serve Krishna." And we heard this, the seminars that Maharaj gave here a few days ago. He made a very nice presentation about the teachings of Prahlad Maharaj. I never heard the teachings of Prahlad Maharaj in this way. It was a very nice presentation. Okay. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for your patience. CC.5.25 ki jai. I couldn't figure out what he was saying.